What truly happens when a ghost from your past, the one you thought was long buried, reappears demanding to be seen? Ty Borden has materialized back at Heartland, but the life he abruptly left behind is now a landscape irrevocably altered. Things are not as they were, and the most profound shift resides in Amy's heart. It has found a new rhythm with someone else, yet, is this the final word in their shared story, or merely the turbulent overture to an unforeseen act? Heartland devotees, steel yourselves. Season 19 is poised to unravel every certainty. The unexpected return of Ty Borden, the atmosphere at Heartland Ranch carries an unfamiliar charge today. As the sun dips below the skyline, painting the fields in hues of deep amber and rose, there's a palpable shift in the breeze, an unspoken premonition stirring the air. The main house door groans open, and the camera focuses on the crunch of unfamiliar boots on the well-trodden path leading to the stables. Ty Borden is here. His expression, a complex tapestry of resolute purpose and haunting memories, comes into focus. He pauses, absorbing the scene. The stables where he once found solace, the horses silhouetted against the fading light, the vast expanse of land before him. The ranch appears unchanged, yet everything is different. He, most of all, is different. Ty lets out a slow breath, as if releasing a burden carried across countless miles and years. The camera travels from his dusty boots, up his travel-worn jeans, to a faded denim jacket he often wore in his previous life here. Every fiber of his being seems an echo from a bygone era, a precious thing once lost, yet stubbornly unforgettable. He moves forward, each footfall resonating with the gravity of his reappearance. He lifts his gaze, his eyes sweeping the ranch as if committing it to memory anew, or perhaps searching for a reflection of the man he used to be. The last time he stood on this soil, life was a different song. He was a different man, but now, the melody has changed, and the question hangs, unspoken but deafening. Can Ty possibly reclaim what he abandoned, or has the river of time carved a chasm too deep to bridge? Ty's attention fixes on the stable door, a portal he once crossed daily without a second thought. He hesitates, a knot of apprehension tightening in his chest, unsure of what awaits him on the other side. His heart quickens its pace as he pushes the door inward. It's akin to stepping into a living dream, yet also like entering an entirely new reality. The first sight of Amy and Finn, Ty lingers at the barn's entrance, his hand instinctively finding the weathered wood of the doorframe. As he observes the scene within, he hadn't envisioned this. In the main paddock, Amy stands with Finn, her clear laughter echoing through the stable air as they share a moment of comfortable intimacy, a sound Ty feared he'd never hear directed his way again. Finn, a man whose quiet strength is evident, reaches out to briefly squeeze her shoulder, offering her a smile that conveys deep understanding. For an instant, Ty wrestles with the implication of that simple touch. Was it mere friendly reassurance, or something more profound? A pang, sharp and unexpected, pierces his chest as he watches them, concealed by the encroaching shadows, his gaze locked on the pair. Amy's voice, warm and full of life, drifts towards him as she speaks with Finn. There's a resilience in her, a self-possession that Ty hasn't witnessed in years, a testament to her journey since his departure. His heart constricts at the realization, his mind whirls, trying to process the surge of raw emotion. A torrent of memories floods his senses, their shared history, the intense love they once nurtured, the way her eyes used to shine with unwavering hope when she looked at him. But that was then. This is now, and now the world has been remade. Ty takes a tentative step into the barn, his boots making almost no sound on the straw-strewn floor. He leans back against the doorframe, arms crossed defensively, not ready to reveal himself. He feels like an intruder in the very place that once defined his belonging. It's as if time itself has reconfigured, leaving him stranded on the shores of a past that no longer aligns with the present. The weight of his prolonged absence, the years of silence, suddenly feels like an insurmountable barrier. For a fleeting moment, Ty is forced to confront what this new reality signifies for him. For Amy, the life he cherished, the love he believed to be eternal, has found a new expression, and within this new expression, where does he possibly stand? Does he even have a right to be here anymore? The question reverberates in the charged silence of the barn, unanswered, as Amy and Finn share another easy exchange, oblivious to the figure standing in the shadows, a silent observer of their altered world. Ty's internal tempest. Ty's eyes remain fixed on Amy and Finn, the knot in his gut coiling tighter. A maelstrom of conflicting emotions rages within him. He'd poured his soul into this land, fought for this ranch, for this family, but now, the very ground beneath his feet feels unstable. He ventures further into the barn, each step a reluctant approach towards an undeniable truth. The woman he loved, the woman he still loves in a way that defies time and reason, is no longer his to claim. The sight of her so confident, so connected with Finn, compels him to face the reality he'd spent years trying to outrun. The wind howls outside, seeping through the old barn structure. Ty rakes a hand through his hair, a gesture of deep-seated agitation, as if trying to dispel the tension embedding itself in his very bones. It's an almost unbearable convergence of memories, their moments together, the depth of their bond, the promises whispered under starry sky. He can still feel the heft of those promises, like an anchor threatening to pull him under. He had believed he could move on, that the passage of time would eventually dull the ache, but witnessing Amy, vibrant and whole with someone else, shatters every carefully constructed defense. His gaze drifts upwards, to the sturdy wooden beams he'd helped hoist into place, beams he'd once imagined would shelter their shared future. Every detail of this place speaks of dedication, sacrifice, and enduring love. But today, it's narrating a different story, one he's profoundly unprepared to hear. The barn, once his sanctuary, now feels alien, and in a way, so does Amy. She's here, tangible, yet the intimate connection that once defined them seems to have frayed, lost in the intervening years of silence and separation. Ty's heart hammers against his ribs as he grapples with the sharp pain welling up inside him. He can't simply step back into the life he left, can he? The prospect of seeing Amy daily, of attempting to reintegrate into her life, feels overwhelmingly complex. Yet, a persistent part of him, the part that never truly relinquished its hold, yearns for a chance to mend what was broken. But would she, could she, even consider it? The doubts claw at him as he watches her interact with Finn, the sound of their shared understanding a fresh wound. And amidst this emotional chaos, Ty recognizes one immutable truth: he is not the man who walked away. The crucial question now is, can he become the man she might need, or even want, in this new reality? The inevitable encounter, Ty and Finn's first meeting. The air between Ty and Finn is heavy, thick with unspoken histories, and the tension of the present moment. Finn, possessing a calm self-assurance, is the one to break the silence. He moves towards Ty, extending a hand in a straightforward gesture. His gaze is direct, though a subtle flicker of something, curiosity perhaps, even a protective wariness, can be seen in his Ty, Finn says, his voice even but carrying the undeniable weight of the situation. We weren't expecting you. There's no artifice, no false warmth, just an acknowledgement of the past, of all that has transpired, and the uneasy truth of what now lies before them. Ty looks at Finn, his own hand pausing for a fraction of a second, before meeting Finn's. His fingers close around Finn's hand, perhaps a moment longer than necessary, as if trying to gauge the measure of the man before him, to decipher the quiet strength in Finn's demeanor. Finn's expression remains largely unreadable, but Ty senses the controlled tension in his grip. There's no overt antagonism, but neither is there an offer of easy camaraderie. It's a recognition of the void between them, of the years that have shaped different paths, the choices made, and their undeniable consequences. Ty shifts his stance, his gaze moving from Finn to the barn entrance, where Amy now stands, observing them from a distance, her own emotions veiled. He cannot shake the pervasive feeling of stepping into a narrative where his role has been irrevocably altered. Finn has evidently become a cornerstone in the life Ty abandoned, the life he once naively assumed would wait for him. And now, with Ty's sudden reappearance, everything feels dislodged, misaligned. I didn't know what to expect, Ty admits, his voice low, almost lost in the vastness of the barn. Coming back like this, the admission hangs between them, a quiet testament to his unpreparedness. He's not merely referring to Finn's presence, he's speaking of the accumulated weight of years, the distance, the unspoken grief, and the silent, relentless way life reshapes itself when one is absent. Finn nods, his features softening almost imperceptibly. Life has a way of moving on, Ty, Finn states, his voice imbued with a surprising degree of understanding, yet also a hint of firmness. Amy's built something good here. We've all found a way to move forward. The words, though not unkind, land with a sting Ty isn't prepared for, but he masks it. A part of him wants to protest, to argue that this wasn't how things were supposed to unfold, but the argument dies before it can be voiced. He knows, deep down, that Finn speaks the truth. Time bows to no one. With a final lingering glance towards Amy, Ty understands that no part of this homecoming will be simple, and every moment will force him to reckon with a future he feels utterly unequipped to face. Amy's response to Ty's unforeseen return. Amy moves forward, her boots making a familiar sound on the barn's wooden planks. As she approaches Ty, the instant their eyes connect, it's as if the world outside ceases to exist, holding its breath. She stops, her posture uncertain, caught in the cross-currents of a painful past and an unexpectedly complicated present. Her expression is a cascade of emotions, profound surprise, lingering disbelief, and something deeper, more resonant, that she can't immediately identify. For a long moment, she remains motionless, her heart pounding, as the man she once loved with every fiber of her being stands before her simultaneously, as familiar as her own reflection and as foreign as a strange. Ty, still propped against the doorframe, meets her gaze, but offers no smile, no words of easy reassurance. The space between them feels immense, charged with years of unspoken thoughts and unresolved emotion. The silence stretches, heavy and laden, until Amy finally steps a fraction closer, her voice quiet but firm. Ty, you're actually here. She says it not as a question, but as a statement of incredulous fact, her tone a mixture of shock and perhaps a buried ember of hope, that maybe, just maybe, the years and the heartache haven't completely extinguished everything they once shared. Her heart aches as she takes him in. It has been an eternity, and yet, here he is, standing before her, an echo of the man he was, yet undeniably altered by the passage of time and experience. His eyes still hold that familiar melancholy, the same profound weight he carried when he left. But now there's an added layer of uncertainty, as if he's searching for his reflection in a world she has meticulously rebuilt in his absence. Amy feels it too. The air between them crackles with the static of unresolved issues, of emotions deliberately buried because facing them earlier was too overwhelming. All the feelings they had thought were laid to rest, now resurrected by his presence. Ty doesn't respond immediately, and Amy feels her breath hitch. Her hands clench at her sides, unsure of the right gesture, the right words, the right way to bridge the chasm that time and silence have carved between them. She has dedicated so many years to piecing herself back together, to forging a new path, to filling the void his departure had created. But now, with him standing so close, it all feels precariously fragile, as if it could shatter with a single word. Finally, Ty exhales, his shoulders visibly tensing, as if bracing for an impact, something that could either begin to heal the fractured pieces of their past, or shatter them beyond repair. His voice, when it comes, is softer than she remembers, laced with a deep hesitation. I didn't know what I was walking into, Amy, but this wasn't it. I didn't expect to see you so at peace. Amy blinks, fighting to maintain her composure as his words strike her with an unexpected force. She is acutely aware that she is not the same woman Ty left behind, and a part of her knows she can never go back to being that person. Yet, the part of her that loved him so fiercely, The part of her that still resonates with the echoes of their shared journey, feels that undeniable, familiar pull, and in that instant, she understands. The critical question isn't whether she still harbors feelings for him, it's whether he can possibly find, or earn a place in the life she has painstakingly, independently constructed without him. I'm not the same person either, Tai, she says softly, her voice trembling almost imperceptibly, but I'm still here, and I'm stronger than I was. She doesn't know what response she anticipates from him. There's a vast ocean of unsaid words between them. Too many years, too many transformations, but in her eyes a resilient flicker of hope remains. Hope that perhaps, against all odds, they might find a way to navigate this new uncertain terrain, not necessarily back to each other, but towards some form of understanding. Tai stands rooted, his mind a whirlwind of everything left unspoken for so long. Amy's words resonate in the space between them, less a plea and more a quiet declaration of her own evolution. But he can't immediately find his response. The years of separation have remolded him, shaping him into someone unsure of how to reconnect with the life he once instinctively knew. He's returned to the place that was his anchor, but the moorings have shifted, and now standing before Amy, his heart is torn in conflicting directions. He looks at her, and there's a poignantly familiar quality in her stance, her eyes filled with unspoken queries, waiting as she always had for him to make a move. But he finds himself paralyzed. Not yet, not when every fiber of his being is in turmoil. He yearns to reach out, to take her hand as he once did, to feel the reassuring warmth of her touch that always seemed to set the world right. But the intervening years have erected invisible barriers between them, walls he's unsure how to even begin to dismantle. Tai glances towards Finn, who remains in the background, observing them with a quiet intensity, a steady point in the swirling storm of Tai's return. The realization crashes down on him, with undeniable force. Amy's life has forged ahead. She has someone else now, someone who has been present, steadfast, when Tai was conspicuously absent. A sharp pang of jealousy, an emotion he thought he had long since conquered, surges within him. He attempts to suppress it, but it's there, a persistent ache. Finn has become a part of Amy's life in ways Tai recognizes he may never be again. And what does that reality mean for him? For his claim to any part of this world? The silence in the barn deepens, the tension becoming almost palpable as Tai struggles to navigate the labyrinth of his emotion. A part of him screams to turn and walk away, to abandon this fraught reunion and retreat from the pain of it all. But then there's the part of him that never truly departed Heartland, the part that still vividly remembers the curve of Amy's smile, the unique way she had of making him feel truly home. That part of him aches with a profound desire to rewind time, to return to how things once were. But can he? More importantly, should he even try? The man standing before Amy now is a stark contrast to the boy she first knew, and different even from the man who made promises he couldn't keep. Time has irrevocably changed them both, and Tai is profoundly unsure if they can simply pick up the broken thread. The thought of attempting to weave himself back into her life, into a life she has so clearly and capably built without his presence, seems an impossible feat. Yet, the pull to try to at least explore the possibility is stronger than he is willing to admit. Tai looks at Amy again, the confusion in his eyes, yielding to something deeper, something raw and vulnerable. I came back because I had to know, he says, his voice a fragile blend of tentative hope and overwhelming doubt. I thought maybe there was still something here, but I can't just force my way back into your life, Amy. I don't know if I even fit anymore. His words hang in the charged air, unanswered, as the full weight of his dilemma descends upon him. Does he stay and fight for a future that feels illusory, or does he walk away for good, finally closing the door on the past? The choice is agonizingly unclear, and it's tearing him apart. The precipice, the world outside the barn seems to recede as Tai stands, his gaze locked on Amy, his mind a vortex of emotion and memory. The familiar sounds of the ranch, the distant whinny of a horse, the gentle rustling of straw in the breeze, fade into a muted hum as he struggles to comprehend the reality before him. Amy's stare is steady, a quiet intensity in her eyes as she watches him. Wait, the air between them is thick with the unspoken, the years of separation and silence pressing down on them both. Ty's heart feels as though it's being pulled in 1,000 different directions, caught between the life he abandoned and a future he's too uncertain to grasp. He draws a ragged breath, looking away for a moment, the sheer weight of his emotions almost too much to bear. As his gaze sweeps over the wide-open fields stretching beyond the barn, he can't escape the question, can he ever truly find his place here again? The land, the horses, the memories, it all feels achingly familiar and yet profoundly alien. He has returned to a place that was once the very center of his universe, but it's no longer the same. Nothing. Ty's eyes shift back to Amy, and for a fleeting heart-stopping instant, he sees the woman he first fell in love with, the one who held his fragile heart with such care, the one whose quiet, unwavering strength made him believe he could be more than the broken boy he'd once. But now there's a chasm between them that feels terrifyingly vast, a gulf carved by years of physical distance and words left unsaid. His chest constricts as he battles the overwhelming urge to step forward, to try and bridge that divide, to finally voice all the things he's carried in silence for so long. But an invisible force holds him back. He knows, with a certainty that chills him, that he can't simply erase the past, can't pretend that time has stood still. He knows that whatever bond they once shared, whatever might still linger, has been irrevocably reshaped by time, by pain, by his prolonged absence. There is no pathway back to the way things were, but the question persists, an unanswered plea in the depths of his soul. Is there any way forward? Ty takes one last, lingering look at Amy, his heart suspended in the charged space between them. He has no map for the future, no certainty of what tomorrow might bring, and the profound uncertainty of it all settles upon him like a physical weight. The prairie wind picks up again, carrying the scent of earth and grass and the subtle promise of impending change. Yet for Ty the future remains a nebulous shadow, elusive and just beyond his desperate reach. As the camera slowly draws back, Ty remains standing there, a solitary figure caught between two worlds, one that he let slip through his fingers and one he's not sure he has the right or the strength to claim. And in the distance, Amy watches him, her expression unreadable, her own heart just as fractured and uncertain. The screen fades to black, a poignant, melancholic melody beginning to play. Text appears, stark against the darkness. This autumn the foundations will be shaken. The screen transitions to black once more. The title materializes, Heartland Season 9, Ty Borden's Reckoning. And then the ultimate question hangs, heavy and foreboding. Will Heartland find a way to heal, or will its legacy be forever fractured? The music softens, lingering on a single haunting note, as the screen remains black for a moment longer, allowing the tension and raw emotion to settle, wrapping around the viewer like an old familiar ache. Then a date emerges slowly, fading into view with a soft, almost hesitant glow. A final quiet promise to the fans who have journeyed through so much, hoped for so much. Text on screen, Heartland Season 9, coming October. The words themselves seem to carry the collective weight of anticipation, of unresolved longing, of all the unanswered questions that have echoed since Ty's world and theirs was upended. The future of Heartland, the intertwined destinies of Amy, Finn and Ty, everything hangs precariously in the balance. Then just as suddenly, a new line of text flashes beneath the date. Text on screen, witness the journey. Exclusive content available for subscribe. The camera shifts for one final evocative shot of the ranch at twilight. The sky is a canvas of deep purples and fading oranges, the light of the setting sun a final kiss on the horizon. A gentle breeze whispers through the trees, carrying with it the undeniable sense of change, of new paths being forged, or perhaps of definitive ending. The screen fades to complete black, but the music swells one last time, its melody carrying an unresolved question that resonates deep in the soul. What choices will be made? A final haunting chord hangs in the air. As the screen cuts to black,
leaving fans on the precipice, hearts constricting, desperately waiting for the next chapter to unfold.